Live from the studios of NBC 12 and ABC 25, this is First Coast News at 11.
Evacuations are underway as the Okefenokee Wildfire swells to more than 135,000 acres tonight. Good evening, I'm Jeff Vallon. The Okefenokee Fire, also known as the West Mims Fire, remains only 12% contained at this hour. The community of St. George, Georgia is under evacuation orders as the fire moves within 10 miles of that town. Many of us saw smoke filling the sky this afternoon. Thick smoke continues to hover over northeast Florida and southeast Georgia. We have team coverage tracking the latest developments with the Okefenokee Fire tonight. Let's begin. We're going to send it over to First Coast News reporter Brittany Dion, who's in St. George, Georgia, where evacuations are underway. Brittany.
We're here in the center of St. George, and as you can see here behind me on State Road 121, the streets are still closed. The West Mims fire has grown today by 17,000 acres. Officials tell us that at this hour, it's only 12% contained. Now, fire crews from all over the country are working to keep this fire from growing as local families seek shelter and to try to protect their homes.
Spraying the roofs of the house down.
Dozens of families are being evacuated from their homes as the West Mims fire in the Okefenokee swamp continues to inch closer and closer to homes.
Some of my family's house and all, that is 200 or 300 yards from their house and all, so I mean it was pretty scary.
Travis Thompson is the owner of the Woofy Wagon on State Road 121. The restaurant has become sort of a safe haven for locals needing a place to rest and a meal.
Scared for my nanny and all my friends here.
10-year-old Jace Bolger lives nearby. He says he came out to St. George with his parents to help family members evacuate.
It's pretty bad.
With 15 to 20 mile-per-hour winds, fire officials say the now more than 135,000 acre wildfire has the potential to move 1 mile every hour. The recent rainfall, according to officials, was not enough. The affected area only got less than 1/10 of an inch of rain. Forestry officials say the area needs 3 to 4 inches of rain at one time to make an impact.
75 residents out there that were evacuated.
Sean Bodden with the National Park Service says the mandatory evacuation is from Crawford Loop Road south to St. George. He says crews are doing all they can to protect homes.
Very heart-wrenching to see these people. They had to leave with, whatever they can grab at last minute, personal belongings and their pets.
I mean, just pray they don't come to you.
Forestry officials tell us the evacuation order will go through at least the rest of the night, and maybe tomorrow morning people will be able to go back to their homes. Reporting in St. George, Georgia, I'm Brittany Dion, First Coast News.
Thank you, Brittany. And now I'm heading over to our information center to talk with content creator Sarah Kimbrough this evening, who is tracking a lot about the particulars of these evacuation orders. Sarah, what are you seeing right now?
So right now it's about a 3-mile radius in St. George, Georgia, and it's not mandatory. That's what a lot of people with the West Mims fire wanted us to say. About 75 homes have been evacuated, so around 80 people have left the area. And there is a shelter in place right now. It's at Folkston Elementary, and so that addresses 34754 Okefenokee Drive. So that is open tonight. I think that's important for people to know there is a shelter open.
All right, you said it's not mandatory. I was hearing that at least one person had said that they didn't want to leave, and I guess they weren't being forced to do that. Yeah. Talk a little bit about what you're seeing on social media here right now, too.
So on social media, a lot of people were posting photos this entire afternoon of the sky. The sky looked incredible, with some people having ash fall on their hand, and there was a photo that a viewer sent us of a church in Hilliard, and we have a comparison of what the church looks like in a regular day and then what it looks like from the West Mims fire. And it's crazy. The sky, just the colors in the sky are incredible.
And that picture we're seeing right now is just on a normal day what that church looks like, and then we see that change over to what it was looking like today. This fire now roughly 10 times the size of Manhattan, the surface area that it's covering so far. Anything else that you're seeing? So
from around noon this morning, it was 116,000 acres. So around 8 o'clock this evening, we got another update that it was around 135,000 acres. So it's grown that much in one day. I think that's insane. Around 19,000 acres in
Yeah,
one
which is
day.
well more than 10% of what it was before the day started.
Yes.
So again, almost 10 times the size of Manhattan. If you've been to New York and you know just how big an area that is. But again, so not a mandatory evacuation order. Any further thought about what the future there may be picking that up more?
So there is a possible evacuations that was put in place by Nassau County Emergency Management. So it goes from St. Mary's River north to Roy Sykes Road and then south to Deep Creek. So that is a possible evacuation that could be put in place. It's not right now, but people should just be aware that they could have to move sometime this evening or in the morning, so they should really just keep an eye out on that.
And I think it bears repeating, you were talking about the elementary school in Folkestone. That is a place where people can go if you're either wanting or needing to leave your home. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, very good. Sarah Kimbrough, thanks so
Thank
much
you.
for helping with our team coverage. We're going to send it now over to Lauren Rautenkranz. She's talking about the help or lack of help that we're getting from up above. Lauren?
That is exactly right, Jeff. We need the rain so desperately. We got some on Thursday. It was a little glimpse of hope, but unfortunately it wasn't enough because now we've got very dry air behind this system that we saw roll through Thursday, and as a result we have these very high fire danger risks. We knew the ingredients were there for a high fire danger day with the low relative humidity only of about 20%. Think about it. That's the indication of how saturated the air is. So 20% is on the low end of the scale. And then also those temperatures were cooler today, but the wind was coming out of the west and it was very breezy, meaning for that fire to spread rapidly and also erratically. So the smoke is actually beginning to taper off tonight. This is actually a time lapse from noon this midday and then through the evening hours. So again, we are going to watch this fire kind of dwindle down a bit tonight as those winds quiet down as well. However, things are expected to pick up first thing in the morning. So this fire getting an early start tomorrow, it could be some bad news for those folks up in southeast Georgia and even into Nassau County as well. We've got that dense smoke advisory, which means that that smoke plume continues to move up towards the east and the north. 1 to 3 mile visibility is possible in the area tomorrow. So if you do have to be driving around in Nassau or Charlton County, just be careful. Also, that smoke settling to the surface overnight, so things are going to be smoky. Not just looking in the skies, Jeff, but also smelling it tomorrow. We'll have your full 7-day in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Lauren. And what a stubborn fire this has been. As of today, the Okefenokee fire has been burning for a full month. It all started with a lightning strike about 2.5 miles northeast of the Eddy Fire Tower in the Okefenokee National Wildlife Refuge. And so far, well, you heard us talking about this a couple of minutes ago with Sarah, more than 135,000 acres have burned. You can see it on the maps on the screen here. The areas in black and red are the locations that have already burned. These maps show aerial observations and infrared imaging, which helps determine the footprint of the fire. Now, many of you have been sending in photos of those hazy skies we've seen throughout the day. You can see thick smoke can be seen for miles in many of these images. Have a look at some of these on your screen where smoke has been draping much of Jacksonville from the Buckman Bridge to downtown and all the way out to the beaches. And this one we're looking from Jennifer Dixon out by the beaches. Teresa Edwards, you're giving the same kind of report there during the day today. A lot of smoke out near the ocean. And what else do we have here? Elizabeth Hardage, that in Mandarin. And that's something that I saw a lot of too as I was driving in, that sharp line between an orange cloudy sky and that really being a lot of smoke. And of course the blue sky that Mother Nature would have dictated had it not been for the fires themselves. So we've also been tracking 2 brush fires near Jacksonville today. Well, a fire burning just west of U.S. Route 1 and north of Racetrack Road at the Duval-St. Johns County line is now fully contained, as was expected. Now, that fire burned nearly 8 acres this afternoon. Fortunately, that one has been knocked down. A smaller fire, much smaller fire in Clay County near Thunder Road and Jim's Court also contained. That fire was reportedly less than an acre. The call coming in between 1 and 2 this afternoon. Well, even if you're not near one of these fires, there's a good chance you're seeing and even breathing smoke from them. The wildfires have released many pollutants into the air and could cause difficulty breathing or coughing for sensitive groups, including those who suffer asthma. So if you're sensitive to changing conditions outside, The experts say it's best to stay indoors until the smoke lifts out of the area. Well, as for burn bans, 32 Florida counties currently have bans in effect, and those bans prohibit all open outdoor burning unless you have an exception in writing from the Florida Forestry Service. Rain deficits across North Florida have the Suwannee River Water Management District declaring a water shortage warning for Alachua, Bradford, and Levy counties. Officials are encouraging people to be mindful of water usage and conserve whenever possible. The warning does not, however, create additional restrictions on water use. Here locally, Duval, St. Johns, Baker, Clay, Nassau, Putnam, and Flagler counties have been asked to limit water consumption voluntarily as well. And remember, of course, you can find the latest about the wildfires online at firstcoastnews.com. Also, be sure to download the First Coast News app on your smartphone and tablets. All right, well, now that testimony has ended in the corruption trial of former Congresswoman Corrine Brown, coming up when closing arguments will take place and when jury deliberations will begin. Plus, old tires were at a premium this afternoon at a tire buyback event. One father-son duo has made this eco-friendly event an annual tradition.